Gwni cwr yn geidal chies mile bwys os yn ffyrcyn ffolche a danish if room hyn is ref ma van kele saifin is it sanatoi tash to lam. Agus táin cosúlach dar é go bhfuil si bheith buint teanamh as blúm. Agus is ínta chun rud é in méid a go háireann méid maná táil áthir agus dar nói is blian speisialta seo, blian seo. Tá maná go bhíle sa hochtiach agus muid ag ciliúra céad bhliain a hen a fuair maná an bhótad an céad uair. May I say what a great pleasure it is to be here. Thank you for that very warm introduction. And I just want to say what a pleasure it is to be invited as patron of Bloom to open Bloom for the 7th time. This is the 7th time I've had an opportunity of coming here and speaking about the importance of all of these different areas to Irish life. Since 2007, as you've heard, Bloom has provided an opportunity to display the very, very best in Irish garden design and Irish grown plants, and to demonstrate the skills of Irish horticulturalists and landscape designers, and all of the possibilities gardens and gardening offer to our citizens as individuals and in communities. Looking back across those 7 years, I think there was a very, very early emphasis on how if you like gardening and you like plants and you like things growing, you can do so in some of the smallest spaces. And therefore there was a very, very early emphasis which was valuable on how to take urban landscapes which were dominated by concrete and to turn them into places where things were actually growing. I think as well as that, it has, of course, over time expanded to become an event in which visitors can also experience the diversity and success of Irish artisan food and drinks. Now, I realize I'm in the presence of chefs and Tris Limlo. I so congratulate you, because not only is the quality of Irish food, but the quality of Irish cooking has gone way up. No reflection on the past. But we're actually doing more and more interesting things with even a wider range of materials. I think as well, not only who would think about it, there's a huge diversity now in terms of Irish artisan food and drinks, from craft beer to gourmet cheeses. And then as well as that, which is very, very important, we got a message in the midst of the recession, and that was those who are working in the real economy intensify their efforts, but also as well as that, all sorts of new little groups came together in the area of craft and design. And the area of craft and design in Ireland is now at a very, very, very high level. So I said it in Irish, actually, in a way. Tá Bloom ag freastal trí Tá seanach is jerin na féidir leis an gobadán freastal an gá and that is the poor gobadán can't be in 2 beaches at the one time, but in fact Bloom is a 3. And then in addition to that, there are the wonderful community and voluntary organizations who every year, year after year, remind us of the importance of citizenship and caring. So Bloom is now firmly established. Most people said, when is Bloom? Because what they're really saying, they know that that's the announcement that summer has started. And all of those who all of us who wish to discover and admire our country's wide variety of flowers and plants, of fruit and vegetables and fruit and drinks, can all come to the Phoenix Park. I must say as well, there are also great publications and books now. Recently, somebody gave me a present of that marvelous The Wildflowers of Ireland. And it's such a great book. And I think last year, Bloom attracted over 120,000 visitors. And of course, that's not just a tribute to the planning that you have heard about and the foresight, but it reflects the passion and interest of our citizens in our native horticulture. And it's so interesting from people of all ages to say, when you're looking at a particular plant, what do you call that? Or what do you call it? And all the different names that there are. And this year, Bloom 2018, 21 spectacular show gardens, 30 of Ireland's top nurseries and florists offering their wares, 100 Irish food and drink producers, cookery demonstrations and many of Ireland's top celebrity chefs, and over 100 retail stands. And it is the year of the celebrity chef. Oh, yeah. God be with Monica. Now, visiting Bloom then, absolutely. Bloom gives us, I wanted to say, people were asking me earlier, what is your message this year if you've done it for 7 years? Well, this year I just simply wanted to say that it gives us an opportunity in 2018 of drawing things together in our head. When I was visiting the United Nations a few weeks ago, at a meeting that discussed sustainable development, or in Paris at the climate change response, these are great, great human documents that will be remembered as historic. But down at the bottom of our experience, they are not only texts on paper. They have to be delivered every day in the way we do things, the way we eliminate waste, the way we behave responsibly with the environment, and so on. So when I say about bringing things together, it's very, very important to realize that sustainability begins with our own actions and our own mode of living, both as persons and as a national community. And therefore, ecological sustainability is not something abstract, but also, as well as that, sustainability in our economic and social life. And I think we have to ask ourselves, maybe achieving sustainability in families and in rural Ireland, for example, is an even greater challenge than for achieving sustainability in agribusiness. I've been a long-time supporter of Origin Green, and I very much see the value internationally of Ireland being able to show and how its product is traced as it makes its way into the highest markets. But equally, I am concerned about Irish rural families, because sustaining Irish farm families and Irish rural society is an even bigger challenge, and it's the one that will test us all. And as president, I meet many community groups who are addressing these challenges in different ways. I think, for example, we're fortunate this year too that Bloom is hosting 12 postcard gardens, as I've said, designed and constructed by community groups and schools from many parts of the country. They're an inspirational example of sustainable communities in action and of the capacity of working the land and tilling the soil to enrich our lives. Earlier I spoke of a philosopher I knew who said, it would be a good thing every day if somebody put a hand around a fistful of clay to remind us of what life is really all about. And I think all the postcard gardens are demonstrations not just of acquired skills, but of values like community and solidarity and friendship and companionship. Now, I think as well, the production of the food, drink, and plants is something that's done collaboratively together. And we sometimes forget, I think, that such production is embedded in a wider ecosystem. And that is the thousands of forms of life, a massive variety of flora and fauna, from microscopic bacteria to worms in the soil, to the pollinators, our threatened bee, right up to the red deer. All of it is very important. And that's what I meant by bringing it all together. And may I say, I mentioned the bee, the pollinator, that's so responsible for so much biodiversity in life. There is no contradiction between profitable farming and being responsible about hedgerows. We need hedgerows, and for the long view. And it really is so important. That's the other side of, I said, getting it together. As a supporter of Origin Green and knowing the value of a traceable product, it's awfully important as well that we get it right in relation to the environment in which we live and the day-to-day we look after all of these forms of life that enable us to be what we are. Biodiversity is important, so we must protect our hedgerows and ditches, which are vital corridors. I've mentioned the different organisations that are here. I'm always delighted to see Uachtaráin and Birdwatch Ireland. Now, isn't there a great message coming this particular year? The birds are all going mad later in the year because of climate change and whatever. But therefore, is this not telling us that all of the forms of life require our responsibility to work together? I think we're joined this year as well by the Federation of Irish Beekeepers. And I think, isn't it incredible to think that at European level and else, that the bee would be in danger, the bee that travels between all the different plant forms that are so important. And here as well in bloom, when you meet the Irish artisan producers, reminding us of something that is very important, of the sensory nature of things that are made, and what a great value it is for young people to be able to see the value of using mind and brain and heart and senses on making something. And I think something else as well. All different dimensions come together as we trace how the food that we eat is connected to the landscape, that is connected to the ecosystem, that is connected to biodiversity. And what happens when you do it right? I suppose you remember many years ago the slices of cheese, wrapped even for further damage in plastic. Now, the fact of the matter, what a miracle has taken place in relation to cheese production. And today there are 50 cheesemakers producing 150 types of cheese, with 17 new cheeses being shown here that were developed only in the last year. And every wheel of cheese, and all of the kegs of artisan beer, and all of the smoked fish, for example, from the smokehouse in Listonvarna and elsewhere, all of these are carefully produced, not by a machine, but they're produced by a person who values food and wants the food to be tasted and enjoyed by people who appreciate it. And all those small food business and others, they're a vital element of our rural economy. And that rural economy must be supported so that farm families can sustain themselves and welcome visitors with all this product. The product is one thing, but the people are the most important. They underpin the wider local community and the image of Ireland as a provider of high-quality, innovative and sustainable food. And about connected thinking. Can you imagine when people pay tribute to the high quality of Irish food on the shelves of the supermarkets of the world, to be able to turn around and say, but you should visit Ireland and see the way they do it themselves in rural Ireland. You can bring it all together by thinking in an integrated way. Now finally, Bloom started as a celebration of gardening. And as I went around, I could see some of the people who are putting on mileage like myself. And they are the gardening clubs. And they were the people who were very, very loyal supporters of Bloom and saw its importance. And I think in particular, what a pleasure it is to be able on international to look at, because we were celebrating International Women's Day. And I want to pay tribute to Camilla Raftery for her A Woman's Garden, which was sponsored by Goal. A tribute not just to all women, yes, but there is something else, and that is this. And I'm finishing now, but by 2050, 40% of all the human beings alive on the planet will be on the continent of Africa. And there will be 1.6 billion young people. And therefore, on that goal stand, designed by Cornelia Raftery, the emphasis was on the women of Africa. Because who is carrying the greatest burden of climate change on that continent? Women. Who is offering the most hope on that continent? It is women. And who are going to be very important in post-conflict resolution? Women will be. So therefore, it's a very, very important... It's a very, very... a very, very important stand. And it joins yet again the Mary Keating Foundation, the Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown County Council, Fingal County Council, and Our Lady's Children's Hospital, Crumlin. And I have to say, as I move around as president, during the year, I pay tribute to Fingal County Council for all they're doing. They're giving a great example. So I pay tribute to all the garden designers in this year's competition. Tres Liam Lo Mila Buicas and Irit Arena Shiad. And I would like to congratulate all those who've worked behind the scenes to bring Bloom 2018 to us. I'd commend Bod Bia, the Office of Public Works, the different government departments, semi-state organisations, Rialta Shiatchula, the Dublin local authorities, and the many Nehid Jonaka, the many voluntary organisations that have all come together to give us what is Bloom 2018. Tá súlagam go ag an tálan an bhliain searíis faoin aimse. Agus cuim go rágus bánach tar iad san a méid tíochtas ag buin teanamh as Bloom 2018. I hope we'll be lucky with the weather, but I wish all of you who come and experience Bloom 2018, I don't have to wish you because you will already be having a wonderful experience. Barbánach is míle buíchas, Bloom is open.